See if I can make this work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever. Something One more try. better luck next time. Well, like I was telling Maya and Aaron, who this lesson is for at the moment, or if you're not Maya or Aaron, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. This tune, as you can hear, is pretty tricky to solo. Maybe it's easier than I'm making it sound, but man, I sure have some trouble with it because the melody's just perfect for it. And if I were to go back and watch my solo on that and like critique it, I need to take my own advice because I'm always talking about how we should go with the melody. But having played this on the gig, I'm trying to stretch myself outside of that, and I don't know. I tell you, let's get to the soloing in a second. Let's start off with the chord voicings, and then all that stuff. I kind of, with pop stuff, I try to be a little bit more specific with my voicings. I should do this with jazz, but I think maybe because I'm when jazz standards were happening back in the 50s and 60s, people were hearing that on the radio. I mean, like stuff was like what was happening now. It'd be like, I don't know, Billie Eilish or something like that. So I think people were a lot closer to it. I think for us, if we have to go back like 70, 80 years, like some of these songs are getting fairly old. It's like, yeah, we don't have that quite the connection maybe that people did whenever they were listening to Miles when those albums were new. So I am saying all that is because I think I feel a lot closer to the Stevie Wonder song, in that sense than maybe I do with, I don't know, some Tin Pan Alley thing. All that to say, so we got D major 7. I have a feeling Aaron and Maya got this stuff. I'm just going to write these out just for sake of consistency. I mean, you guys know this stuff. And then what I like to do for that G flat 7 sus, I'll put the sus in blue. I've been getting into color coding the more I do these videos. I'm in my Bob Ross era. It's like, oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful trees. Let's have a nice little root there, and a third and a fifth. So that's kind of how I'm doing that. Again, I'm thumb over guy. Classical majors and teachers are probably, pulling their hair out. And then C flat major 7, and I know I can feel everybody rolling their eyes over like C flat major 7. Well, yeah, but if we're in the key of D flat, C flat is the flat 7, and I don't know how much I want to die on this hill, but to me, I've come full circle. Like there was a time in my life where I wanted to see B because I knew where B was, but if I'm seeing C flat, that helps me see like, oh, that's like a flat 7 relationship to the home key. So versus like B would be like, well, that's like a raised 6 kind of thing. I don't know. As I say it out loud, I realize maybe that's kind of a weak argument, but maybe not. I don't know. My 2 cents. I'm sure someone could beat me at debating. I was never really good at debating. All right, G flat over A flat. So good old sus chord. So this would be, oh yeah, I should probably put in the fret numbers here. So that's 4th fret. Believe it or not, that was supposed to be a 4. All right, 2, also 2 as well. Back to, what that be, 4? So, man, if I had $1 for every time I use this voicing with Stevie Wonder and like, soul music, R&B, whatever you want to call it, And if you have a bass player, you just take the bottom note and you put it on top. And then you have you see that in Bruno Mars music. All kinds of like, modern day, kind of thing. Never too much. All right, yep. Such a great voicing. Anyway, all that to say, for our purposes, since we're in guitar duo, we do not have a bass player. We do not have a keyboard player. So which means for whoever's playing the melody, we have to give them nice full voicings with low notes that make it feel full and supported. And then, what I was doing, I was just lowering the 3rd here to get kind of the A flat 7. That would technically be an A flat 9. Because you got the root, the flat 7th, the 9, and then the 3rd. You could just as easily, you could do what we did for G flat. That would work too. Cherie, Amour. I don't know the lyrics to this song. Maya would know it. goes to the 4 chord. Good old garden variety, G flat, major 7. Second fret. Si Amour, ba da da da. If you want to get that melody on top, you could do this one. That'll work. If you want to double the melody, you could also do something like this. So G, and this is like piano player talk. They like thinking, okay, G major 7th in the right hand, A flat in the left hand. Like, not everybody likes to think like that. Apparently, I've talked to a lot of horn players that they would just say, man, why don't you just say A flat 13 sus, which is technically, I don't have an opinion about it. I say, if you can, always try to be the person that can do both. The more options you can have, which means the more problems you can solve for people. The more problems you can solve for people, and that might be just being a badass artist, or it might be somebody that's like more of a side person, you know. You could be an artist, or sometimes you're just a person showing up and changing a tire for them musically. It's the musical equivalent of that. So the more you know, the more you can interpret these symbols and stuff like that without lecturing people. I'm the teacher right now, which is why I'm lecturing you. But you will not do this to the client. Even if they ask really nicely, I would say probably don't lecture them. People don't like that. But the point I'm getting at is you want to be the person that does both. Oh, I love this voicing. The flat 7. No, wait. Sorry. Yep. Yep. And I do know, just after I made that big song, no, they do say C flat. I thought they were going to say B. So flat 7. Lovely. Sorry, guys. I've done like 7 videos in a row. I'm probably just getting loopy, but you know, I had the momentum. I wanted to get these knocked out tonight. All right, so there's this guy, da, 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 and then you go down to a regular B flat 7. This is what I like about Stevie Wonder songs is they teach you so much. The melodies are so, you know, relatable and like, you know, but I mean they make the harmony just seem so smooth. So like up to this point, my, sa, re, everything's based off that F. Cherie, Amour, da 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 da. All those voicings have an F on the top. And the melody does that too. I love it. I think I was saying this in class too, but I was saying like, man, I've had thoughts of pivoting instead of teaching like normal jazz standards, and I could just do an entire class on just Stevie Wonder songs. It has everything in it. Everything you want to learn about harmony, great melodies, and they're challenging to solo over it, you know, too. And then going back to we already covered this. Da 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 da. So it says A flat 9, but we can go ahead and make that a 13 if you want. That'll work because you know there's a big fat 13 in the melody. So you know. So my Cherie, Amour, da da. If you want to do a tritone sub thing, if you're just doing a chord melody, I'm sorry, I'm kind of free associating here. So let's see. So I can go G flat over A flat, G 7 sharp 5. You know, you can. There's your G Amour, da 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 da. And then I always mess up that string line. Sorry. I agree with flat 13, flat 9. Maybe don't do that. I don't know if that's quite the vibe. All right, melody, you guys can figure that out. You saw me play it, so let's talk about soloing here. So, man, this A section always gets me. It's like trying to figure out. Trying to figure out. I guess maybe I was overcomplicating it. You just go down the whole step. So I go D flat major. Yeah. Or if you want to think about it, sometimes if I'm in D flat, I can think if I'm going to D flat Dorian. Sometimes having that overlap. I mean, I don't know. Let's see if I can illustrate this. So it's like, where are you going? You're going to D flat major, right? And then you want to get to B. You have your Venn diagram here. You have D flat Dorian. Right? I mean, that's not quite. I'm kind of seeing this. I am getting loopy. Whatever. We're pushing through. With 16 minutes, all right. Try not to get this too long. But try to keep this around 20 minutes. So. And again, I'm just trying to think of like what the melody does. Trying to grab a little bit of that in the melody. Now, you might say like, oh, now we're going to go to G flat major but that's actually the 4 chord. So you're going to think G flat Lydian, or I don't know, you just think of the notes of D flat major. Think of like a G flat major 7th arpeggio, but add the notes of D flat around that. I don't know if that helps or if it doesn't. G flat major 7th over A flat, still in D. All right, now here we go. Now we're getting to the good stuff. So Lydian dominant. So here's a little. I think So dig this. When you first learn Lydian dominant, yes, you're going to say C flat. All right, let's see if I can do this in C flat. How fast I can do this. So I'm going to start off with C flat. Well, we know that C flat's easy because it's just all flats, right? People get freaked out in theory class, but actually C flat's a lot easier than remembering other keys. So we'll start off with that, all right? Now we're going to turn this into Mixolydian, so that's going to be a double flat. Oh boy, hissing and gnashing of teeth, all right. And then we're going to raise the 11th, so that's going to give us an F natural. Now, this is all well and good. So we can go back to our voicing here. I'm going to fill in the notes with green. That would be, around your voicing. That's going to be voicing de jure. It's a good place to start. So you can visualize that. So. And then, another way you could think about it is I'm going to relabel the roots as red, and then I'm going to fill out the notes of the arpeggio as blue. Sorry, sharp 4. You're going to be right. So, I'm always talking about like the arpeggio being the bones of the voicing. So 1, 3, 5, flat 7, root 3, right? And then with a Lydian dominant, we can start with this like the root 3, 5, flat 7, and then I kind of imagine like, okay, there's like 2's kind of a go between. Sharp 4 is kind of like hitching on to the flat 7, and then a half step below the 5th. So I'm still relating it back to the arpeggio notes. Like the sharp 4 is an ornamentation of the 5th. And then the 6th is the same thing for the flat 7. So that kind of gets me out of thinking linearly. I kind of think like, I'm still thinking about, I don't know, I guess I'm coming at it from thinking about the chord tones first. And then the other, if you think of the arpeggio, then you're already past halfway there for the scale. You got 4 out of the 7 notes. So that's there you go. There's like my little thing there. But that's a good first step. But then the next step for me is then I figure out how can I relate this back to where I want to land. And that in this case it's going to be, oh boy, I'm running out of paper here. D flat. So if I were to rearrange this stuff, well, actually, I can just get rid of that guy. What is the difference between this and a D flat major? Well, these two notes. Oh, wait, not those two notes. Good Lord. Sorry, it threw me off. So you'll see a flat 7 to 1 resolution all the time. I think of like, so let's say, I'll just give you a vamp here, even though I know this isn't, I'm going off on a tangent now, so whatever. No use, no sense fighting it. I'm here now. So I'm going to go. Go back to D flat major. And that's already a vibe in itself, right? So to practice resolving that, so I flat the 6th and the 7th of D flat major. So that flat 7 and flat 6 wants to resolve to the 5th to my ears. So far, we kind of relate it to a cage system thing. I don't even know if this is helpful or not. I'm kind of, whatever. So we got this guy. So I imagine, what's the best way to illustrate this? So I put the flat 7 and the flat 6, or I can put the flat 6 here. Ugh. Flat 6. I really like them here. So imagine, like, I guess what I'm getting at here is, rather than thinking of like a completely different set of notes in a completely different universe, it's like, no, really, most of the notes in D flat work. I just need to watch out for those two notes. So I mean, like, so see, I'm just gonna play a cappella, and then maybe if I do it right, you'll be able to hear when I'm doing this chord and when I'm going back to the resolution. So. So and not to get super deep on one chord, but man, that flat 7 kind of thing, that's a sound you're gonna hear all over the place. So it's good to kind of even just practice that as a vamp. Now I know immediately that is going to a 6 dominant chord, and I kind of hear that as like I would approach that as like an altered sound, even though it's a 9. I don't know, something about that, because the melody is doing. The melody's technically doing like a flat flat 13. So I mean, I don't know. You could do. I don't really like harmonic minor. I just would go straight altered. You gotta make sure to land it to that major sound, that 2 dominant, which is also Lydian dominant. Although I would kind of watch it out. I wouldn't want to get too jazzy on this. Well, too late. But, certain things, I don't know, work in context of a soul kind of thing. And then A flat, 13, you're back to D major, D flat major at this point. So, let me see. I'm gonna pause this, make a loop, and I'll play over this a couple more times, and then we'll call it a night. And we're back. All right. I'm gonna try soloing over this one more time, and then I will let you guys go. This video's already gotten too long. All right. I'm going to try to use the melody this time. Hope that helps some. All right, have a good one. Bye.